There are 3 rounds to go in this thrilling 2021 Formula 1 Championship battle, and the next of those races is a curveball that the teams and drivers have had little time to prepare for. The first ever Qatar Grand Prix to be held at the Losail Circuit, famous for hosting MotoGP since 2004, was only made official at the end of September. The short notice, plus a lack of data for the teams to use in their preparations, means F1 is heading to a complete unknown at a crucial time in the campaign. Just like the teams, we've been looking into what we can learn about the track from seeing it up close, trying it behind the wheel virtually, and of course from what we've seen over nearly 2 decades of two-wheeled action. For the second year running, F1 has faced a challenge to get a full calendar of races in, with the COVID-19 pandemic still making travel to certain countries either very difficult or impossible. This year we had more races cancelled, but F1 remained determined to stage its longest ever season. While it has fallen short of its intended 23 races, the addition of Qatar as the 20th Grand Prix of the year means F1 will achieve a 22 race schedule for the first time in its history. The Grand Prix will start at 5 PM local time, making it a twilight race. Losail has been able to host night races since 2008, when it had a full circuit floodlight system installed to enable it to host the first night race in MotoGP's history. That move was welcomed by MotoGP riders who preferred racing in the cooler evening temperatures. However, when the sun goes down in Qatar, it can lead to some dampness in the air and even dew forming on the track surface. Its location can lead to mixed weather, so you're just as likely to see a heavy downpour as you are a sandstorm. F1 has referred to a strong will from Qatar to be helpful this year, and it said the initial gesture from Qatar quickly developed into serious discussions that have led to a 10-year deal being signed between both parties. After Qatar takes a year off from F1 in 2022 to focus on the FIFA World Cup, it will return for the long haul in 2023. F1 says the driving force behind the 10-year deal was Qatar's vision for F1 to be its showcase after the World Cup has taken place. It's not yet known where the race will be held from 2023, as those discussions are still ongoing. But in Losail, F1 and Qatar have a ready-made World Championship-worthy facility that has been able to prepare to host a Grand Prix at very short notice. Losail is unique on the F1 calendar in that it's a circuit designed for bike racing. The different characteristics of the bikes in terms of the lines they take to get around corners, longer braking zones and how they race each other means the needs of 2- and 4-wheeled racing are not the same. As a result, the track features many long sweeping corners, some of which are likely to be phenomenally fast in an F1 car. After the initial right-left-right sequence of the first 3 turns, the double right that follows should be exceptionally quick. The middle part of the lap features the slowest corners, with 2 tight left-handers separated by a long right and a short S sequence. On acceleration out of turn 10 and through the gentle left sweep of 11, the cars will head into 3 consecutive high-speed right-handers and then another pretty fast left that will send them down to the final corner. It's tricky to predict how the racing will play out with 20 F1 cars on track, but the long start-finish straight, often the scene of thrilling MotoGP drag races that are settled on the brakes for turn 1, should allow for passing in F1 as well with the help of DRS. The key challenge will be staying close enough in the high-speed final sector and making sure you get a good run out of the slightly slower final corner onto the main straight. One thing that does seem likely with so many long radius, high-speed corners is that this is a circuit that will work the tyres, particularly the left front, very hard. Depending on how well Pirelli's compounds handle that sort of punishment, it could open up strategic opportunities during the race. Lewis Hamilton's stunning victory in Brazil has closed things up in the championship, meaning he heads to Qatar 14 points behind Max Verstappen with 3 races to go. The competitive picture has swung wildly between the 2 title-chasing teams of late. They were evenly matched in America, Red Bull dominated in Mexico, and then Mercedes clearly had the fastest car in Brazil. The layouts and conditions of those circuits vary wildly, so it's very hard to pick out a trend heading to a track F1 has never used before. As the championship reaches its conclusion, the stakes continue to get ever higher. Verstappen knows that a victory this weekend would give him a shot at wrapping the title up before the final round, while Hamilton's target will be to get the gap down to single figures. With the championship so tight, the off-track bickering and suspicion between Mercedes and Red Bull shows no signs of letting up either, so there's bound to be just as much verbal jousting between the teams as there could be between the drivers on track. Red Bull is particularly concerned, or should that be intrigued, by the straight-line speed Mercedes showed in Brazil. Mercedes admits that his car is less draggy, and it took the hit of a grid penalty last time out to give Hamilton another fresh engine for maximum performance to the end of the season. With Losail featuring a long start-finish straight but plenty of corners that are going to require the teams to run a fair amount of downforce, whatever Mercedes has come up with to reduce its drag could prove vitally effective. So that's where things are at as F1 heads to Qatar for the first time, and everything we know about the Losail Circuit. Make sure you let us know in the comments what you're expecting from the race and how you think this unexpected addition to the calendar will influence the title fight.